Have you ever wondered why, despite working harder, learning more, and hustling longer than any generation before them, most millennials are further away from retirement than their parents were at the same age? Why people in their late 20s, 30s, even early 40s, people who did everything right, still feel behind? Why the idea of retiring at 65 now feels like a fantasy, a myth, a relic from a world that no longer exists. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most millennials will not retire. Not the way previous generations did. Not with comfort, not with stability, not with dignity. And no, it's not because they buy lattes. It's not because they don't work hard. It's not because they're lazy or entitled or irresponsible. It's because the system itself has changed. And nobody warned them. Millennials were handed a broken economic engine and told to just drive. They entered adulthood during recessions. They started careers with more competition. They bought homes at the top of bubbles, if they could buy at all. They faced inflation like their grandparents, without the wages their grandparents had. They inherited debt, not assets, costs, not growth, responsibility, not reward. And through all this, they've been told, just work harder, just save more, just invest early, just be disciplined. But here's the part no one explains. You can't build a retirement plan on a foundation that was never designed to support you. Today, you're going to see the truth. The truth most politicians hide, most employers ignore, and most financial experts conveniently leave out, because the retirement crisis isn't coming. It's already here, and millennials are standing at the center of the storm. The question is not whether the system will fail them. It already has. The real question is, what can you do now, right now, to escape the collapse everyone else is walking into blindfolded? Let's begin. For decades, young people were told the same story. Go to school, get a job, work hard, buy a home, save for retirement, enjoy the good life. But this blueprint was written in a world where college cost a few $100s. Homes cost 3 times income, not 10 times. Jobs came with pensions. Healthcare was affordable. Inflation was stable. Wages tracked productivity. A single income could support a family. Retirement was a guarantee, not a gamble. Millennials inherited the blueprint without inheriting the world it belonged to. By the time they graduated, everything had changed. Tuition exploded, housing exploded, healthcare exploded. Food, transportation, childcare, all exploded. But wages, flat. Decades of growth, erased. This is the mathematical core of the crisis. Millennials are not failing the system. The system is failing millennials. And the consequences are catastrophic. Here's the part most people don't see. Retirement used to be automatic. You worked 30 years. You received a pension. You lived comfortably. Now, retirement isn't guaranteed. It's optional, and only for those who can afford it. Today's retirement system is built on 3 pillars. 1. Social Security. 2. Employer benefits. 3. Personal savings and investments. All 3 pillars are cracking. 1. Social Security is running out. Whether people want to believe it or not, the math doesn't lie. There are fewer workers, supporting more retirees than ever before. By the time many millennials reach retirement age, benefits may be reduced or delayed, simply because the money won't be there. That's not fear. That's arithmetic. 2. Employer benefits aren't what they used to be. Pensions are gone, matching programs are weaker. Corporate loyalty is dead. Millennials aren't getting long-term security from employers because employers don't offer it anymore. A company today expects a millennial to stay 2 to 3 years. They're not building retirement plans for people they don't expect to keep. 3. Personal savings? Impossible for most. How can you save money when every dollar you earn is already claimed by debt, inflation, taxes, rent, and basic survival? The rule used to be save 10% of your income. But 10% used to actually mean something. Today, for most millennials, 10% doesn't even cover rising rent. You cannot save your way to retirement in a system built for your failure. And that's the dark reality nobody wants to face. Millennials entered adulthood in the middle of the largest cost of living explosion in modern history. Everyone talks about inflation now, but millennials have been living it for 20 years. Housing up, food up, healthcare up, childcare up, education up, insurance up. And here's the kicker. The things that actually build wealth, real estate, business ownership, investing, are more expensive too. Millennials aren't just priced out of comfort. They're priced out of opportunity. They're told to invest early, but the market is inflated. They're told to buy a home, but homes cost more than ever. They're told to build a business, but startup costs are crushing. And while they're drowning in rising costs, they're still expected to save for retirement, pay off debt, build an emergency fund, invest in the market, own a home, raise kids, plan for the future. It's not realistic. And deep down, most millennials already know it. This is what the retirement landscape actually looks like. A generation working more hours for less money, with fewer benefits, higher expenses, greater instability, and no safety net. That's the truth. Millennials didn't ruin anything. They didn't fail anything. They didn't make bad choices. They were handed a ticking time bomb and told it was the American dream. But here's the part that matters. The retirement crisis is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It sneaks up slowly. One rent increase at a time, one medical bill at a time, one recessions at a time, one lost job at a time. And by the time most millennials realize what's happening, it may be too late. Unless you understand what nobody else does. You cannot solve a new problem with old strategies. You cannot follow your parents' blueprint in a world that no longer works the same way. You must build wealth differently, strategically, deliberately, intelligently. And that's what comes next. By now, it's clear that something is deeply wrong. Not just with the retirement system, not just with the economy, but with the very foundation that generations were told to rely on. But the real danger, the real threat, nobody wants to say out loud, is that millennials aren't just falling behind financially. They are entering a future where the old rules no longer work. And the people who refuse to adapt will be crushed by the very system they trusted. Let's get into the next layer of the crisis. The one almost no economist, politician, or financial expert dares to talk about. For decades, the wealth ladder was simple. 1. Go to school. 2. Get a job. 3. Save money. 4. Buy a home. 5. Retire. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Today, that ladder has been sawed in half. Millennials face a reality older generations never imagined. High-paying jobs require experience. Experience requires low-paying jobs. Low-paying jobs no longer cover basic living costs. It's not laziness, it's math. In the 70s, one income could buy a home, raise a family, and save for retirement. Today, 2 incomes barely handle rent. And yet, society still tells millennials to follow the same outdated script. What they don't realize is that the script has changed, but the expectations haven't. Which leads to the next truth. Here's the unsettling reality. When retirement programs were created, most people didn't live much longer than 70. Now, people routinely live into their 80s, 90s, even beyond 100. But the retirement system did not adjust for that. Millennials aren't facing 10 or 15 years of retirement. They're facing 25, 30, maybe 40 years of financial survival with a system built for half of that. This mismatch alone is enough to cause a generational collapse. Think about it. More retirees, living longer, with higher medical costs, supported by fewer workers, paying stagnant wages, into a shrinking system. That is already underfunded. The math does not work. And millennials are the ones who will pay the price. But it goes even deeper. For the first time in history, young people are bombarded with endless financial noise, crypto pumps, meme stocks, AI hype, gold surges, recession predictions, side hustle culture, get-rich-quick promises, fear of missing out on every trend. Instead of clarity, millennials are drowning in confusion. Older generations had fewer information channels, but more stability. Millennials have massive information exposure, but almost no stability. And here's the real danger. When everything feels urgent, nothing gets done. People freeze, people hesitate, people delay saving, delay investing, delay planning, because they have no idea where to start. A generation paralyzed by information overload is a generation heading straight for retirement failure. But even that's not the biggest threat. Almost every millennial is one major event away from financial freefall. One job loss, one medical bill, one broken car, one unexpected rent hike, one family crisis. Older generations had margins, millennials have cliffs. And when there's no margin, there's no room to save, no room to invest, no room to build long-term security. You can't think about retirement when you're trying to survive the month. And the system knows this. But instead of fixing the cracks, it keeps telling millennials to save more, while ignoring the fact that they're already saving everything they can. This is not a failure of discipline. It's a failure of structure. And it leads to the brutal truth. The word retirement is becoming outdated. For millennials, the future looks less like retirement and more like a transition into lower intensity work, multiple income streams, and hybrid lifestyles where money is earned differently, not stopped entirely. Millennials will not retire from work. They will retire into autonomy. That is the new model. Not because millennials want it, but because the system forces it. The only people who will retire comfortably are the ones who learn the new rules early. Rules built on action, adaptability, and awareness, not blind trust in a broken system. Which brings us here. The 4 new rules for retirement survival. The ones millennials were never taught. Rule 1. The government will not save you. Counting on social programs is no longer a plan. It's a gamble. Rule 2. Saving alone is not enough. Inflation eats savings alive. Only income-producing assets grow faster than costs. Rule 3. Career stability is an illusion. The next decades will reward skills, not job titles. Agility is the new security. Rule 4. Your retirement depends on your decisions, not your employers. Pensions are gone. Corporate loyalty is gone. The safety net is thinner than ever. The sooner millennials accept these truths, the sooner they can build real wealth on their own terms. And that brings us to the real message. If everything in this video feels overwhelming, that's because it is. The silent retirement crisis isn't coming. It's already here, invisible, growing, creeping into the future of an entire generation that has been told to just work harder while the ground crumbles beneath their feet. But here's the part they never tell you. Crisis creates clarity, and clarity creates opportunity. The millennials who learn the new rules early, who build assets instead of waiting for rescue, who invest in their skills, their income, and their autonomy, won't just survive the retirement crisis, they'll overcome it. And whether you're 25, 35, or 45, it is not too late. The system may be broken, but your future is not. If this opened your eyes, tell me in the comments what shocked you most. And if you want more videos like this, more truth, more strategy, more clarity in a confusing world, make sure you subscribe. Your future wealth starts now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now,